Greetings everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of All Things Lambda, the Half-Life community show that likes to cover Half-Life community news sometimes. And with sometimes, I really actually mean every week. We got a bunch of stuff again this week, so let's get right into it.
LambdaGeneration.
Coterminus, the Half-Life 2 mod that aims to recreate and re-add cut content into Half-Life 2 while also allowing others to build on top of it, has finally released part 4 of its super long and chunky media update that originally came out earlier this year. This update is a rather small one, but it has some interesting information nonetheless, like when the first 2 chapters of this mod are going to release. Milky Way M16 predicts here that they'll be able to release the mod in late 2021. That's this year still. The 2 chapters you'll be able to play at that point are Coast and Prison. And we got some gameplay for you right here from Coast. The 2 maps that are shown off here do look a lot like maps that are already in Half-Life 2, with some adjustments to the textures, some geometry, and models here and there, taking on a more beta-like appearance. After these 2 chapters are released, however, Milky Way M16 is going to work on the next 2 chapters they want to work on, which are Intro, City 17, and Ravenholm. Intro, City 17 is going to include the whole train ride and walk to Kleiner's lab apparently too. Sounds cool. If you want to read this article for yourself, and if you want to watch the demo video too, then there is a link in the description below just for you. It'll bring you to the ModDB article. On Coterminus ModDB page, you can also read the other media articles that Milky Way M16 released to get a better idea on what this mod got to offer you. Last Thursday, the team behind Peer Review posted a short update on how their Half-Life DK remake is coming along, showing off both their progress, future plans, and even some screenshots of environments and models. The team explains that they have completed the Alpha 1 Phase 2 stage of development, and after a short break, are beginning on Alpha 2. Though most of the game so far is grey and orange depth textures, they have begun adding some environment details to some levels, as seen in 2 screenshots. Another couple screenshots show off some world models that will call these new levels home. They've got a couple wet floor signs, one of which is looking pretty 1950s, and they also show off a crate for C4 explosives. The team also says there is even more where that came from, but aren't ready to show off just yet. One last thing they're showing off though is a rocking new soundtrack piece called Code Green. If you like Black Mesa's questionable ethics music, you'll like this one too. If you want to listen to the full song, check out these screenshots or read the update for yourselves. Links are all in the description below. It's been a while since we last covered the Vogue podcast on this show, and in that time they have been doing a whole bunch of interviews with interesting voice actors from all kinds of Valve games, and even a couple of voice actors that are actually not from Valve games. Some of the interviews that they have been doing are with Vince Valenzuela, the voice of Francis, and Earl Alexander, the voice of Lewis from Left 4 Dead. They also had a more recent interview with John Patrick Lowry and Ellen McLean, who both voice in Half-Life 2, and Ellen is the voice of GLaDOS in the Portal series of games. Their entire channel is also filled with clips from the interviews that they do, so that you don't necessarily have to watch the whole hour-long interview and get to the funny or interesting bits straight away. They got John Patrick Lowry to say, "Take this medkit," during the interview, and it's amazing. John voices the male citizens in Half-Life 2, by the way. Other interviews that they did include Katie O'Hagan from Resident Evil Village, Gavin Hammond from the Telltale Walking Dead games, and John St. John from... well, you know John. It's probably one of the most interesting channels to watch and listen to from time to time, and I highly recommend you to give them a listen if you're into voice acting and stuff. Their YouTube channel is in the description below. 2 big players in the Half-Life community have just joined up together for a competition. Map Labs and Half-Life A Place in the West have officially teamed up for a Map Labs test tube competition. In this competition, mappers have to create maps inspired by the comic series. There are a lot of interesting concepts in Half-Life: A Place in the West, so I don't think getting inspiration is going to be a problem here. It's also worth noting that you don't have to take this theme too literally. It doesn't need to be a direct translation. This competition also has a couple of challenges that you can try to implement into your map. The first challenge is to make the map take place somewhere in America. Counter-Strike Source and Left 4 Dead assets are allowed to be used this time. The second challenge is to try and include vorts in a notable way, and the third one is to include Combine Thumpers, and a good couple of them. The guest judges for this competition are going to, of course, be the creators of Half-Life: A Place in the West, Michael Pellier and Ross Joseph Gardner, so that's very exciting. The competition will end on the 25th of July, and bonus entries will be accepted until the 28th of July, so get mappin'. I put a link in the description below to the tweets from the MapLabs account, which includes the poster shown on screen. There is some more interesting info on there that you must read. Good luck to you all. Okay, let's say that you don't have a VR headset, and a lot of you probably don't. And even if you did have one, your PC wouldn't be able to run Half-Life Alyx anyway. What do? Well, PEEPS now has a solution for you. Yesterday, he released the Half-Life Alyx movie Episode 1 over on his YouTube channel. With the Half-Life Alyx movie, PEEPS aims to recreate the story of Half-Life Alyx into a cinematic movie, with awesome effects, camera shots, and everything, and it looks absolutely amazing. Episode 1 is about 21.5 minutes long and follows Alyx from the beginning of the game until she meets Russell in his lab and leaves with the train to the contamination zone. There are other story bits and pieces sprinkled throughout as well to make watching this also very interesting for people who have already played Half-Life Alyx before. So is this a must-watch? Yes, absolutely. When the next episode will be published isn't certain yet, but I sure am waiting for it, and when it does, we'll of course let you know. A link to the Half-Life Alyx movie Episode 1 is in the description below, and subscribe to PEEPS if you haven't yet. You know what else you should subscribe to? Or follow? Our social media pages, of course. There are links to our Facebook and Twitter profiles in the description below, as well as our Discord server, which you should totally join, and a link to join our very own Half-Life community platform. Most of the people in this video post stuff on there as well, so go and take a look. It's really worth it. All Things Lambda is a team effort. I do produce the show, but without the help of CinemaBane and Lochnessmobster, making the show would be a lot harder. So their YouTube channels are linked down below, alongside my YouTube channel and my Twitter. Go give them some love. And with all that being said, I'm going to end episode 149 of All Things Lambda. Don't be scared though, because we'll be back next week with a brand new episode. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and to ring that bell icon so you'll never miss another episode. Salutations, and take care.